Hello, everybody. Welcome to SHL Sunday Ticket. It is the semifinals. It's Team Black Lotus Kawasaki versus Kawasaki Ninjas Rule and the Doghouse versus Defias Henchman. I am Force of Will, and I am joined tonight by Mark Shire. Mark Shire, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing great. I'm excited to cast.
I am too. So the first match that we have tonight is D Lyman versus Delcaver. Of D Lyman of Team Black Lotus versus Delcaver of Kawasaki Ninjas Rule. And unfortunately, this match doesn't really determine a whole lot because Kawasaki Ninja Rule has already advanced to the finals with a score of 13-5. And actually, it's probably the least interesting fact of this match because the interesting fact with this match is last week they played on Sunday Ticket for a 2-hour-long match. So hopefully it doesn't go that long again because by the end of it, I know I was going crazy by the end of it. So.
Yeah,
anyway,
that was a pretty crazy series last week.
Yeah.
So hopefully we don't really get a repeat of that.
Hopefully not. It's like, well, we do have the classes and we have the bands. D Lyman's bringing Druid, Mage, Shaman, Warrior. Delcaver is bringing Druid, Mage, Paladin, Warrior. But D Lyman's Shaman has been banned and Delcaver's Druid has been banned. Does that tell you anything about what could the plans be for both these guys?
Well, a Druid ban is typically a sign of a control lineup because you want to dodge Shade Druid. And judging by what D Lyman brought last week, he had some very slow control decks last week. I would say that means D Lyman is going to be on bringing some control decks, maybe a Jade Druid, possibly a Burn Mage, and a Taunt Warrior as well. I know he brought Taunt Warrior last week.
I would say, and as for D Lyman Delcaver banning Shaman, could we think that maybe a nod to aggro decks possibly? Could Dokkaeber actually be looking to bring some aggro lineup?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is usually a very telling ban as well. The Shaman ban usually does mean aggro.
So, all right, excellent. So hopefully if one person bringing aggro decks, that alone will mean that we're not going to have a 2-hour long match, thankfully, and we'll be able to start.
One would hope, yeah.
We'll be able to start the Doghouse versus Defias match, which actually does mean something pretty soon after this. So, let's see. Okay, so let's see. They're about to start. As I said, congratulations to Kawasaki Ninjas Rule already. I know my team, we played well, but unfortunately we are not going to be able to make it to the finals. But after last season, being tied with last, and this season making it into the playoffs I think it's a big improvement for our team. And I'm definitely proud of my team overall this year. So we're still waiting for them just to go ahead and get in real quick.
Yeah, now, so D Lineman, I think this is his 4th appearance on SHL Sunday Night Ticket. He's definitely been on here a lot. And Dokkaeber, I know he's been on here at least one other time, maybe 2 other times.
I think he's up to 2 actually. Because I know he was on last week, and then last week was not his first appearance on here either. So, so yeah, so it looks like they are actually in the matchup now. So let's go ahead and get on in. And then, let's see. Actually, I have to ask D Lineman to send an invite.
Yeah.
You asked for it.
Oh, there we go. You beat me to it. All right. So for me, let's see. For Dokkaeber here, it looks like Mana Worm, Sorcerer's Apprentice, Battling Book. This seems to be possibly Secret Mage.
Yeah, the Sorcerer's Apprentice usually indicates a more aggressive mage build, probably a secret mage. On D Lineman's hand, we can see he already has some Jade cards, so it looks like a Jade Druid.
It definitely looks like a Jade Druid here. So, well, Dokkaeber actually has a really good starting hand here. Probably the best you have is just turn 1 Mana Worm. And if D Lineman wants to answer this, he's going to have to coin out a Wrath to do it.
Yeah, turn 1 Mana Worm is pretty good. We see the Violet Teacher come into Delsaver's hand, which is interesting. It's not normally run in Mage, but it's not a bad card. I'm wondering if this is maybe some sort of Tempo Mage that could be running less secrets, and maybe is running some cards like Burly Bully and Antonitis as a finisher. Just a thought, Violet Teacher is sort of rare.
Could be, yeah. It's like, yeah, normally you see it in token strategies, which Mage doesn't really have a token strategy per se, but it is definitely interesting. D Lineman leaves up the Mana Worm, which I think is fine here because I don't see a. I mean, he can. I guess Dokkaeber could Primordial Glyph if he wishes, but
I like just getting the Apprentice on the board, and I think that saving the coin is probably fine. I think it's pretty valuable to have in hand. So D Lineman's just going to Wrath this turn, and now he gets to do it on a higher value target. I think you're definitely killing off the Apprentice over the Mana Worm here.
I think so too. Now, was there any argument to coin out Jade Blossom there? Mana ramp a little bit more.
Maybe there was. I think you just have to get the Apprentice off the board, and it feels bad to use Innervate and Coin to get the Jade Blossom out with if you're also going with the Wrath. So I think that play is fine.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so not so great options for Dokkaeber here, but he does get the Primordial Glyph off of this, so he'll be able to cast it for free. And then, but he may be thinking actually wait next turn when he has the Violet Teacher out, so that way he can get a 1/1 out of it too. And it just does look like he chooses to do that. Now in this case, I think this is actually he's gonna go Tar Creeper, which is it's a big enough body here to make sure he can't get through. So, all right, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Dokkaeber, the Violet Teacher here. And then, yeah, just Primordial Glyph because he'll get a +1/+1 and the... some interesting options here. He could do the Flame Geyser. Flame Geyser is free, and it will allow him to get through the Tar Creeper at this point. But I could also make an argument for a Blizzard, especially since he knows at this point it is Jade Druid.
Yeah,
He's-
Flame Geyser provides the most immediate value. There is some thought to Blizzard, though, because even though Delcaver is really far ahead on the board right now, it's nice for him to have some stalling tools in hand when he has the Yoggster on.
Yep, absolutely. So, and he's going to decide not to trade into it because, I mean, it is just a 1-3 on D-line this turn. So, it's not the best thing in the world. But it looks like the D-lineman wants to innovate out the Jade Behemoth here, which would get him his first Jade a 1-1.
Yeah, so kind of rare to see the Jade Behemoth come down and only pull a 1-1. It usually doesn't happen too often, but I think it's still the right play. It contests the board a decent amount. D-Lineman still he doesn't have anything in the way of direct removal, so, this Violet Teacher is still going to be able to get a bunch of 1-1s on the board, and we don't see a swipe in hand for D-Lineman yet.
I'm about to say, and on top of that, actually, he did draw the mirror image off the top here, so he can Violet Teacher and mirror image, and use the first Violet Teacher to kill the Tar Creeper immediately. But he'll also have 5 minions on board, if my count is right. No, 6 counting, or sorry, it'll be 6 minions counting the mirror.
Yeah, he might. Let's see. Does that mean he'll miss getting a 1-1 proc?
No, actually,
Or it means one of these 0-2s won't.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he's actually he's short on that, but he can actually clear this board if he or everything except the 1-1 if he chooses, because he can do. Yeah. And this seems reasonable. And he'll actually be
I think
left
it's
with
fine. I'm not really sure why he didn't just go ahead and kill off the Tar Creeper there. I guess he doesn't want to damage his Violet Teacher, but it seems like it makes sense to just clear that minion off.
Yeah, it's like I definitely think he should have. It should have at least been consideration that to go ahead and do this. Now he does have the option. D-Lineman does have the option to coin out a second Jade Behemoth if he wishes, or he can nourish. The question is, at this point, do you almost have to nourish for mana to get up to the Primordial Drake?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a consideration here because he really needs to contest this board. He could also draw and maybe try to pick up a swipe here, but at that point, if you don't pick it up, it's so hard to come back, right?
Yeah, I think it is. It's like the board's going to be completely lost at that point. I think if you go that route. So
yeah, if he drew, he'd really need to draw into swipe or maybe that second innervate to possibly pair with the Primordial Drake next turn. I don't think ramping is that bad in this situation, though.
Nope, and he decides to. And also, actually, he can double ramp. He can use the coin and the Jade Blossom, and he will actually get up to 9 mana next turn.
Yeah, he'll get a 2/2 out here, and it doesn't do that much now. It will, of course, die to the Primordial Drake next turn, but he can just trade it off before that happens. Slows down the bleeding from these Violet Teachers a little bit.
Absolutely. It's like, now, this is actually a pretty easy board clear for Delcaver. I think I don't even have to use the Meteor. At this point, I think the only question is, do you throw out the Blood Mage Thalamus for cycle or not? Because you have to assume that as hard as he ramped, Primordial Drake has got to be in hand.
Yeah, I think you're definitely expecting the Primordial Drake here, but I kind of just like throwing the Thalamus out anyways, just because Delcaver's hand is really not great right now. He really needs to pick up some more options.
Very true, yeah. I'd say after he throws this out, it would be a Meteor, a Flame Elemental, and Yogg.
And D. Lineman has just informed us that he has caught a mouse, so he might be taking a while on this next turn while he deals with that mouse that he caught.
Wow, okay. That's... I don't even know what to make of that.
Yeah, that's... Okay, well, okay. Looks like he's either taking care of the mouse or he's just going to play this turn out really quickly and then try to deal with it. So good luck with that, D-Lineman.
I'm about to say, now the Jade Behemoth I completely understand, but given that this is Mage, is there any thought that he might be running Medivh in this and to hold off on that Gluttonous Ooze?
I think there's a lot of merit to it because you see the Violet Teacher in hand. You know that Violet Teacher is not commonly run in Secret Mage, so I think that you expect some things that are a little bit unusual. Like Medivh, it's not a card that's usually run in Secret Mage, but because this is sort of an off-meta build, I think there's a lot of merit to saving Gluttonous Ooze there.
Of course, this may have just been a rush to deal with the mouse, so I think we might be able to blame this one on the mouse.
Yeah, I don't think D lineman is intentionally roping to tilt his opponent or anything.
Oh no. I'm sorry. I was talking about the gluttonous ooze. Like,
Oh, I see.
it's like, yeah, no, he's definitely not doing this. He's trying to do something with the mouse. I'm assuming get it out of the house or give it to the cat or something. I'm not certain.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So he did before he dealt with the mouse, he did manage to play around Meteor. So this is a little bit awkward for Delcaver here. I still think he just wants to Meteor down this 3-6.
I think so, because you can take out the gluttonous ooze and then use your undamaged violet teacher to finish off the or actually yeah, you would have to use your undamaged, or you can use your damaged one. And oh, interesting. Okay, he actually aimed the meteor at the.
I am ready to learn.
Wait, that's
Okay. Okay. All right. I was wondering, it's like, why did he aim it at the far right? But it's the placement bug.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's bugged out for us. We're seeing the Jade Behemoth on the far left, but that's not where it was. I guess he actually pointed out the middle one. That's a little bit confusing.
Oh, arcane missiles. You can't even think a second before he puts that 1-2 in there. He's going to do it. And then
I
actually,
think he wants to save the missiles because he probably still is predicting that Primordial Drake to come down next turn, so it doesn't do that much here.
well, there's the swipe, and the swipe can. It can't clear the board up yet, but it can at least get rid of everything but one violet teacher. And
Yeah,
so,
swipe's definitely much needed for D lineman there.
I say, unfortunately for Delcaver, he really does not have a great follow-up right now to it. I mean, Burglary Bully is fine. Not great, but it's fine in this case. But anyway, so I'm assuming D lineman is still dealing with the mouse, and that is why we have not seen a pass turn yet. So
I would assume that. So, I mean, just looking at this board state now, it seems like D lineman is far ahead just because we don't have a ready answer for this 4-8 Primordial Drake in Delcaver's hand right now. But D lineman is going to struggle to end the game before turn 10, and Delcaver has played quite a bit of spells, so I think it's not unlikely that we'll see Yogg have a very strong effect on that game.
Do we have a Yogg count? I say, if I'm just taking a rough estimate guess, I think we're at about 8 or 9.
That seems like a good estimate. Yeah, I don't have a deck tracker up, unfortunately, so I'm not sure. But it seems like around that range, which is getting to where it's strong, but still generally not something you can rely on to have a game swinging turn.
Well, it looks like Delcaver here, he wants to throw out the Burglary Bully. I guess the question is, do you... It's like, let's see. So Arcane Missiles is going to be let go here. I mean, it's not going to clear this off by any stretch, but...
Yeah, so Delcaver was hoping to get at least 1 or 2 damage on that Drake, but actually none of those missiles hit. On the plus side, if he manages to draw, a couple fireballs in a row, maybe that face damage ends up mattering. But yeah, probably won't happen.
No, that can't be right. According to what my current tracker is, I just turned it on. It's looking like only 4 spells right now. Oh, the one was a free spell, so actually he got a second primordial glyph, so 5, and then... No, I think he's at least 6. I think it's 6.
Yeah, now that you think about it, he actually hasn't played too many. He did have that glyph, but he spent a lot of his early turns just playing minions on curve.
He did. It's like... Yeah, I believe right now it's a 6 count Yogg, but he did get Babbling Book, so he can at least try to see... Maybe he can peel the Flame Strike. No, he gets Spellbender, which, I mean, I guess it's not terrible. It can protect the Burglary Bully, but if he really wants to, but yeah, it looks like actually.
D Lineman has updated us that the mouse has been taken care of, so.
Yeah, the mouse is taken care of and gone now. So okay, so no more mice issues.
So yeah, I guess you just Burglary Bully and play out the Spellbender, right?
I think so. I think this is the thing that makes the most sense is if you do this, then I mean I think the immediate instinct is going to be aim the. Oh no, actually he's going to hold off on it.
So, I mean, I think there's a very decent chance that you just get overwhelmed next turn and are forced to Yogg. So I think he would want to play the Spellbender just to, get that one more spell for his Yogg. But I guess not. He wants to be greedy with it.
So let's see. Actually, yeah, with the Duck Bear will get 1 coin out of this.
Oh, okay. And actually, well, I mean, pinging doesn't do that much, but yeah, getting that 1 coin is pretty important because that is another spell for Yogg, which is really the only way that Duck Bear comes back to this game right now.
So at this point, I think what Duck Bear is probably looking for is I'll be honest, this is an off-meta deck list. I do not know, but I'm guessing he is probably looking for either a second meteor, a flame strike, something to clean this board up.
Yeah,
on the next turn, but
it's interesting. He pinged that 5/5 last turn, and that could be a tell that he had Flame Strike in hand. Of course, he doesn't actually have it in hand, but if in some case he did top deck it, then that would have worked out. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's running Flame Strike. Sort of a weird list, so it's hard to predict exactly what, but definitely something that could happen.
All right. Well, he does pick up the Frostbolt here, so. I mean, he can Frostbolt the 4/4, ping the 6/1 down, and then even now play the Spellbender.
Yeah, point. I think it's fine. You just leave your opponent with a 4/4 on the board, and you're at a pretty healthy life total. So maybe you just go Frostbolt, ping, play the Spellbender, and then look to Yogg next turn, probably.
I think so. It's like, was there any merit just making that 4/4 a 4/1 and just keeping the 2/3 up? Instead, and then
maybe there was. It would have given him 2 ping targets.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he can leave it frozen for a turn, and then next turn he can ping and finish, or he can Yogg, either or. And he's actually passing. I'm wondering if he thinks that he's going to have to finish this game with burn, and that's why he wanted to hold on to that Frostbolt.
I'm really not sure about that. Maybe he wants to Frostbolt the next big threat D lineman plays and then set up for Yogg the following turn.
Could be. All right, so here's the second mirror image.
Wow.
Theoretically, I mean, if he wanted to, he could mirror image coin Yogg here, but
it's possible, but I don't think he's not in danger of losing the game this turn.
Nope.
That mirror image and Frostbolt. I'm really surprised that he didn't want to get more spells out of that. Wow.
So volcanic potion.
Yes, he's just gonna go for it.
Oh, good thing those weren't reversed.
Wow.
That
Holy Smite. This will kill any minion, but it goes face.
Yeah, that was a 7 count, I believe.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, 7 count. So yeah, I think it was a really early Yogg, especially now.
I definitely agree. Yeah.
Especially now because now he can aim that swipe to the face, don't have to worry about triggering the Spellbender, and then still wipe his board. So.
Yeah, and I mean, Duck Bear doesn't have any follow-up to this. He just has Frostbolt and Mirror Image in hand, and he's about to die, too. He's at 4 health. Really not sure about that.
Well, there's
he
a fireball.
has a decent amount of burn. I wonder, well, I guess he can set up for lethal if he top decks Pyroblast.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to send that fireball to the face. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Frostbolt hitting, well, I think he
or wait, sorry, I forgot that this wasn't Ice Block because it usually is in this position. Well, no,
it's not. It's Spellbender. Yeah, yeah. It's like, well, I think he's got to throw out. Yeah, he's got to throw out the mirror image. Which, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's. Oh, that's rough. 2 gadgets and auctioneers and no spells to cast.
Oh yeah, D lineman just really hates to see that.
Yeah, but he's still in an excellent position though. It's like, I mean. Well, there's Archmage Antonidas, so he can start trying to get some. Actually, well, no, he does have enough mana. He'll have to coin out the ping to finish off the Gadget Zan, but he does have enough to do it. Yeah, but he's got to Frostbolt the Gadget Zan here and ping off.
And
Oh,
if he
well,
picks
actually,
off the 2-1 here, then his opponent could have draws. So
Could
that's
have
giving his
draws.
opponent more outs potentially.
Oh boy, and I think that's going to be pretty much going to seal that. Here is a Feral Rage for life.
Wait, does
for
D
art.
Lineman still have a swipe left in this deck?
I believe he does. I only have seen one swipe, and I think it would be really odd to not be playing two.
So yeah, he could have. Oh, he's gonna go for the double gadget. Okay. I don't really hate this. It should. Wait, is he even? Let's see, he's at 19. No, he's just dead though.
Oh, is he? 19, 5, 14. So
Or is he? Wait, 13.
no,
Oh,
he's not-
he was one off.
he's one off. Yeah. Now the problem is now Delcavera does have the burn in hand to finish this off.
Yeah,
and there's no answer in hand.
yeah, no swipe for D lineman.
Was it?
That's-
I mean,
that's gonna be
even
game.
if he even had a swipe, the spellbender is still active, so he couldn't. Well, I guess he could aim it at the face, but yeah, that's going to be game. Delcavera is going to take the first win with this mage deck. Very interesting tempo build. I can tell from this. It's like we didn't see anything that makes us think secret or burn one way or the other. But so now that the druid is off the table, the shaman has been banned. I guess the question is, do you go to the mage or do you go to the warrior next? If it's honestly, I guess probably the mage mirror would probably be the best way to go, because I don't think taunt warrior is really. I mean, this is an odd mage, so it's really hard to say which one is favored. But I think taunt warrior would have a very hard time with this deck.
It could. I mean, that deck also runs a lot of like low value cards like Arcane Missiles and Mirror Image, which don't do much against Taunt Warrior. Honestly, I don't know. I think it's close either way. I think like a well-tuned, like a well-built meta mage deck, like a very mage or secret mage, would still be favored over what Delcavera is bringing. But I mean, we'll have to see. Like Yogg and Archmage Antonitis are still very powerful finishers.
All right. So it looks like we are getting into the matchup here. And let's see. It looks like D Lyman is going his mage. Here. And just like Burn Mage from D Lyman, we do see Alex Straza here. And well, actually, this might be Freeze Mage. I just realized the Loot Hoarder is in hand too.
It's looking like Freeze. So if there was one way for me to characterize Delcavera's Mage deck, I would say it's close to Tempo Mage. And historically, this is a matchup that favors the Tempo Mage. But I'm not sure. Like classic Tempo Mage without secrets, because it doesn't look like Delcavera is running them, hasn't been seen for a long time. So maybe the Freeze Mage is just favored because it's an optimized deck.
So, well, D Lyman does have a bunch of the early options. Delcavera just picked up Mirror Image, but I can't imagine he actually wants to toss that out at this point without having a Mana Worm. But
No.
I could see a Coin Arcanologist here, or Coin Loot Hoarder and try to bait the hero power.
Yeah, I like the Coin Arcanologist here because you have the follow-up with Loot Hoarder. It makes a lot of sense. You just are getting that, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 curve automatically off the bat.
All right, so for Delcavera here, he does have Glyph. He could see what he picks up with it, and then I think kind of go from there. So I can't imagine this is a Mirror Image turn. He does have a few options. He has Frostbolt, Power Blast, and Ice Block. He might take the Power Blast thinking this is Burn Mage, but if he did...
I think he'd just take the Frostbolt here just to kill off this Arcanologist, right?
I think so, yeah. It's just a free kill of the Arcanologist right here, so... So we'll see which one he takes.
I mean, Ice Block is also a really key card in the Mage Mirror, but
Right.
I still think Frostbolt is just the best. Okay.
All right, so he is going to take the Ice Block here. And D Lyman is going to drop that Loot Hoarder on turn 2, so he will be able to get a cycle out of it whenever it is killed. And yeah, Delcavera's hand right now is really awkward because it seems like it's all his higher drop stuff right now. I mean, he can ping the Loot Hoarder down. which I don't think D Lyman's even that upset about. But yeah, Dunkerberry's gonna have a really difficult time, I think. Here, it's like D Lyman did pick up the second Arcanologist, and was able to get the second Ice Block out of his deck. Let's see.
I mean, looking pretty good for D Lyman right now. He's hit his early game minions. He has draw in hand. He even has a finisher in Archmage. This isn't a matchup where the Freeze Mage needs to hit their Alexstrasza to win.
It's not.
Archmage Antonidas plus a spell or two is probably going to be more than enough.
All right, so for Dokavir here, I mean, the 3/5 does contest the board pretty well, but he's actually just going to end up drawing here.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would have liked to see the Violet Teacher there. This is just a little bit too passive. Delcavir is going to take so much chip damage now that Archmage is really looking like it can just immediately finish off the game.
Yeah, it does. It's like, now admittedly, I think he may be waiting Violet Teacher or Mirror Image in the same turn, so that's the only reason why I could think he would actually want to go that route. But
that's true, yeah.
D Lyman's going to glyph here, and he has a few different options. Counterspell would be interesting.
I think you take the Arcane Intellect.
I think you take Arcane. Yeah, I think you take Arcane easily every time here. Yeah, one mana draw 2.
I mean, because that's a card that you're already running in your deck. All Freeze Mage wants to do is just stall and draw cards until it can hit its finishers. And yeah, Arcane Intellect is, I think, it might be the best card that D Lyman could have gotten from Primordial Glyph, to be honest.
So let's see.
So now Delcavir can go Violet Teacher or Mirror Image if he wants to. He could also just play Burgly Bully, and he'd probably get several coins out of that. But with no Archmage Antonidas in hand for him, it's the coins don't do as much.
No, they do not. Is D Lyman going to overdraw us? Sorry, no, I guess not. I guess my count was off on how many cards he had, but let's see. What does he have for answers here?
I think he does have 10 cards, so he can't really play Acolyte here or anything.
He's going to play the Ice Block and
Block and the Loot Hoarder. I think it's fine.
Yep. It's like, so yeah, that way at least it will not it won't cost him a draw doing this. As for Delcavir, yeah, Mirror Image seems like this could work here. I could actually see the Burgly Bully and the Mirror Image, because to get through all of it, I think he would have to have some spell.
Yeah,
I think this.
Just going with the Burgly Bully and Mirror Image is really good. D Lyman's really only way to clear a board right now is Frost Nova and Doomsayer, and Delcavir even has answers to Doomsayer if he wants to Fireball Ping or Meteor. So he's going to opt to not go for the Burgly Bully and instead just draw. If he was doing that, he should have drawn first before playing the Mirror Image.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now he doesn't really pick up anything of value, so I guess he's just going to ping off this Arcanologist. That's fine.
Is I'd probably kill. Oh, actually, you're gonna put the Violet Teacher into the face.
I mean, there's a lot of merit to that. Face damage is important in this matchup because Delcavir definitely has to kill the Freeze Mage before he dies himself.
All right, so with this turn here, just looking at possible options. Yeah, he may try to Frost Nova Doomsayer, but Delcavir is gonna have the answer for that.
Yeah, this is sort of one of those awkward Freeze Mage hands where you have Alexstrasza and Antonidas in hand, but you don't have that much to do with your mana that's great. An Acolyte Ping would mean that you overdraw. So I think D Lyman's only play here is just Frost Nova Doomsayer, if anything, just to get some cards out of his hand.
So, well, Delcavir does have the answer here. Actually, he can even drop the Blood Mage if he wants to for cycling a bit and still use the Fire